Let's do this. Good morning, good life. Welcome back to Amy TV, where we come together to help you go after the life you want. This is a very special episode. I am in my new set for Amy TV at home. Why? Because when I go on vacation, I can't just sit around. It's just not in my nature. I haven't fully soundproofed the room, so I'm sorry, but I promise you it's worth it. You might remember at the end of last year, I released my second book, Good Morning, Good Life, 5 Habits to Master Your Mornings and Upgrade Your Life. And at the same time, we released a planner because it was very important to me that all of the things we talked about in the book were very actionable for you. So this is a much requested video on how to use the Good Morning, Good Life planner, but with a twist. And that's because I am so excited to announce we have upgraded the planner to be even bigger and better than ever before. Introducing the new Good Morning, Good Life planner. This is our dated 2020-2021 planner. And in today's video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what you want to know. And that is how to use the planner yourself. If you're watching this video right when it comes out, the planner has officially launched in my store, so check out the links in the description so that you can get yours. But whether you have the new one or you have the original, today's tutorial is going to be useful for you, so stay tuned so that you know exactly how to get the most out of your Good Morning, Good Life planner, and you can start every day on your terms. Okay, I cannot wait. Let's just do this. Is my hair good? The biggest goal with this planner is that it's going to give you clarity starting a day on your terms. So while it can track all the things for you if you want it to, you really just want to focus on the couple of things that are important to you each day at the start of each day so that you truly do get that morning routine that is ideal for you. All right, let's dive in. The first page that you're going to see is a little ownership page. Very self-explanatory. You have your name, where you live, your handle, if you have a hashtag, and a website, and a mantra. I like to have a mantra, something that reminds me why I'm doing what I'm doing every day. You're probably very familiar with it. It's to go after the life you want. Next, we have a little introduction from me. I wanted to throw a few rules out there for helping you make sure that you make the most of this planner because it really is meant to keep you motivated, not overwhelm you where you give up on it or give up on your morning routine or give up on your plan. This is a 2020-2021 planner. It starts in September of 2020 and is dated through the end of 2021. So we have a couple of annual calendars here for you. And 2022 because you know, we like to plan ahead. Probably no surprise to anybody that's been friends with me for a while is I kick things off here with your goals. First, we have health, spiritual, career, and relationships. Just letting yourself know right on one page what your big picture goals are for these areas is a great idea, especially right next to your why. We talk about this ad nauseum, so I'm not going to get super in depth, but your why is really, really important because it is the thing that gets you out of bed every morning. Doing a morning routine is not going to motivate you. Having your morning routine to facilitate why doing things your way and on your terms matters is. So write that statement here so you can keep it front and center with your goals so that you can really look at that and be motivated to go into every day as much as you need to refer to this page. Next, I love a good epicenter of important dates. So as we start planning for the future and things pop up, whether it's appointments or people's birthdays or big anniversaries or anything that's important to you, having a one-stop shop for that is really important to me. So that's why we have important dates for 2020 and for 2021 in one spot. Next, we have our monthly spread here, and our first month in this iteration of the planner is September of 2020. For me, this is a bird's eye view of what you've got going on in your life. I really restrict the number of appointments that I will put on something like this because it should be stuff I definitely don't want to forget or even moments that happen that I wouldn't want to forget. So this is a much more sort of fun outlook of what's happening, keeps things light, and you can get into the nitty-gritty of appointments and details and tasks on other pages, but that's how I like to use the monthly spread, completely up to you how you like to observe things in your life. As you decide what's right for you in this situation, I just want to take this time to remind you that this planner is here again. The goal is to gain clarity to start the day on your terms. So please just make sure that you're using this as a resource that's going to push you in a positive direction and not overwhelm you with too much information. Okay, next up we have what we call the get ahead spread. Or at least that's what I'm calling it, so let me know if you like it. If you read Good Morning, Good Life, my book, you know that I talk about 3 pillars for a solid morning routine, and that is one of the main reasons why this planner exists, is to help you kick off that routine very strongly. Those 3 pillars are movement, mindfulness, and mastery. This is a nice place to have your options laid out so that you're not like, oh, what am I doing for mindfulness today? I don't know. Ugh. And then you get into your mindset and it gets crazy, and we don't need that. For a really deep dive on some options here, I do have a master list in the book of different movement, mindfulness, and mastery ideas you can have here, but I'm just gonna put a couple of my favorites in. Most of the time when I first wake up in the morning, I head to the powder room and I do my skincare, and I consider that movement because I have to move muscles on my face, and you might as well call that good enough to me, right? So under movement, I would put skincare. I also like to do a little bit of stretching, and every once in a while I'll do like a 10-minute yoga sesh, but not too much. I'm not the type that works out the moment I wake up in the morning. It doesn't get me excited. I'm like a late morning to afternoon worker outer, so it's not usually going to be exercise for me, but there will be a little something. For me, mindfulness looks like morning pages. If you're not familiar with what that is, I have a great video on that. Check it out. It's a fabulous journaling technique for creatives or not creatives. Definitely look into that. And I also do a little bit of gratefulness journaling, and I read the Daily Stoic. These are really easy for me to do all in the same morning, and then there are going to be things that you can only choose one from your list that you can do each morning, but it's good to have the options right there so you know what's on deck. The mastery part of my morning is usually the last thing that I do because it is so connected to my work. I like to do it right before I'm about to start doing work, but before I'm reporting to the rest of the world. So for me, mastery looks like writing content. That could be outlining a video, that could be writing an Instagram micro blurb or a little blog post, but I'll also do sort of like an idea brainstorm. In this next column here, we have a number of different things. We can start to move over some of those important dates for the month that we are focused on under events and birthdays. So that's a really quick to look at list here. I love having that because I like to get my birthday cards, anniversary cards, any gifts that I need to get ready to go as early on as possible. So looking at those at the top of a month or the end of the month before is a very smart idea so you don't forget. People to reach out to is also really important. You know, we talk about the fact that there's lots of people we wish we'd been in touch with or we'd like to meet someday. Start writing those people down. Stop thinking about it. Make it a point to focus on it on a regular basis so that it actually might happen. And currently is just letting your planner know what you're up to currently. I do this in my newsletter. If you are on my weekly newsletter, you already know, but I updated it for the planner so you could write what you're reading, what you're watching right now, what you're currently planning on, and what you're learning about. Now we're moving on to our goals, but we're breaking it down on a monthly basis. You'll see our 4 pillars again, and so you can look at your annual versions of each of these and start to break out real steps that you might take for them in the month that you are planning for. So let's actually flip back to annual. Let's say one of your relationship goals for the year would be to meet 52 new people. Maybe people that can help you in your career or in some area of your life. So your monthly version of that might be something like introduce yourself to 5 people. And as you go, you might get more specific with that particular goal and the actionables that you'll do for the month. But you see the point. I'm breaking it down into a bite size so that it's just 5 for the entire month, and it's right there for me to focus on whenever it's time to get around to it. Next up is one of my favorite parts of the book and of the planner, and that's the timeline map. What we talk about in the book is that there is not one clear morning routine that you're supposed to have. There's not a clear wake up time. There's not a clear bedtime. Everyone's life is different. I don't know when you work. I don't know what your obstacles in life are, so you have to plan around that. But that's exactly what this little area is for. Let's start with planning your morning time. Biggest thing I can teach you here is that you want to reverse engineer it, which means you'll probably want to start with your earliest obligation of the day. For most of us, that's reporting to work or school. Let's say it's at 9 a.m. I'm gonna put that on the timeline first so that we can figure out where we're going from there, and then we'll get to when we're gonna wake up. So 9 a.m., I gotta get to work. I gotta be in my seat at work. From there, I'll know that it's a 15-minute drive, but I'm gonna say 8:30, I need to be commuting to the office. And I'm also gonna get my coffee. Before you can get in the car and leave, you've gotta get ready. We're going to get ready. That usually says, you know, do your hair, do your makeup, get your life together, feed the dog, grab your lunch. All right, so that's all the stuff we know we do. You know, you could wake up at 7:30 and hit the ground running, but the entire point of this is to not do that. Let's say we're gonna get a little bit better movement in if you're more of the type to work out in the morning. At 7 o'clock, we're gonna take an online yoga class. So it's really quick and there's no commute. And then do just a little bit of stretching after so that we don't feel rushed to get into the shower. At 6:30, we'll do coffee and a little bit of writing, so we've got that mastery time in there. Prior to coffee, we're going to make the bed because we probably just woke up. And we're also gonna do a little bit of meditation, which is gonna kick us off with the mindfulness that we need for our morning. And if that happens at 6 o'clock, you know what time you need to get up. So you can see how we reverse engineered from the latest appointment. You might want to give yourself more of a buffer time. I personally would. I would probably choose a 5 a.m. wake up time and add a little bit more minutes to each of these sections just to feel like I have a lot of space for myself. But this is helping you see that a 6 a.m. wake up time is still a reasonable time for someone who wants to get in a little bit of those moments that are special and just for you. We also now know, based on what time you have to wake up, what time you need to be asleep. So now I'm gonna walk through and do the same thing and reverse engineer from your bedtime if you were to get 8 hours of sleep, which we should really plan for so that you can see what that might look like. Cue the hyperlapse. All right, now you've got your entire evening and morning planned, especially if you're under the restricted time frame of just having those 2 parts of your day to yourself. Now we're moving on to your weekly spread, which is really your daily check-in. This is where you should start each day to make sure that you are actually achieving the morning that you want, the good morning for the good life. You're gonna be able to check off your movement, mindfulness, and mastery and start to get an idea of what the rest of your day is going to look like. I like to sit down and write down what time I woke up that morning so that I know if I've been sticking with my plan. And then as I go through each section, I will check them off. And sometimes you're not gonna get to all of them, and sometimes you do, and sometimes it feels good, and sometimes it doesn't feel good. But just seeing on a daily basis how you're doing with keeping up your habits is a great thing for reinforcing the good ones to stick around. Just some lines here for you to use at your disposal, whether it's just thoughts that pop into your head while you are going through your morning routine, since this is really your morning routine planner, or appointments that you want to keep track of throughout the week. I highly recommend that you focus on 3 things that should be your priority for the day. We get really overwhelmed with how much we should be getting done, but if you just have 3 things that it would be a win if you did those things, that would be good enough. Write those down each day so that you feel like you actually have a handle on what that is. And again, just checking things off and writing down, did you stick with your habits and what are my top 3 priorities? That's the gaining clarity and starting the day on your terms that I'm talking about with this planner. I also have a section down here for writing your bedtime. I personally think it's a good idea because it reminds you that that is the time. We love to forget what time bedtime is, right? We just be scrolling and we yes, Netflix, I'm still watching. But if you remind yourself that that is the time and you need to reverse engineer that, you're more likely to stick with it. But if that time changes every day, then, well, you know. The last thing that I will point out is that there's a couple of places for you to do some reflecting. You know, if you've seen a video of mine, that I do weekly reflection on Sunday nights every single week, and so I've left a space for that here. It's probably not as much space as I would need for weekly reflection, but I think it's really healthy if you do nothing else to just sit down and say, how did this week go? What was good? What was bad? What can we do to improve? That is exactly where you can do that. And then you'll also find that at the end of the year. I want you to look at 2020. How did it feel to you? And what can you write about what went well and what you'd like to see happen in the next year? And then you're off to 2021 and hitting the ground running. That's it! The new and improved Good Morning Good Life Planner is available at gatlu.store. Check out the links in the description below. This is a limited edition planner. We're not going to do it dated like this in the future, so definitely check this out. You're gonna really like it if you want like a solid, fully dated 16-month calendar for your life. I hope that you do. The first 250 orders are going to get a signed bookmark from yours truly, because I didn't want to sign the actual planner because it comes really nice, packaged, undamaged, really beautiful, so we don't want to mess that up. And yes, international orders are welcome. You can handle all of your shipping details in the checkout process. Before I go, I just want to say a huge thank you to you. If not for you and your unwavering support, especially of the book. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that you guys told me this worked for you, it's a system that helps you to start every day on your terms, we wouldn't have planners, we wouldn't have fun episodes like this, I wouldn't have random leaves on my wall, it just wouldn't be happening. So that is all because of you. Thank you so much. If you enjoy all of these things, please like the video. It really supports my channel and it tells me that you'll be back. That's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Remember, subscribe for good vibes, kiss the ones you love, and go after the life you want. Cheers! What do you guys think of the new set? Should we do a tutorial? I was thinking about showing you how I did all this. I turned my house into an office and a set. So, very exciting. I broke this out into 4 different sections. We have, I just did that. That was an accident. Okay, God help me. I hope that was good. Because my husband's talking on the phone upstairs and we can hear everything he's saying, can't we? We're gonna have to work on that.